it's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. One of the ways I've gotten involved in the communities I've lived in over the past 15 or so years is running the clock at basketball games. When I started out, I was assigned middle school games. I made every single mistake possible during my inaugural season at the table. Seriously, shout out any error that could be made by an operator of the scoreboard at a basketball game. What's that, you say? Yep, I made that one, and dozens of others. Thankfully, I had experienced partners at the table, patient referees on the court, and frantically shouting fans in the stands on both sides of the gym who let me know when I had screwed up. A few of them even offered instruction on how to fix things. After gaining a bit of experience, I added in a few high school JV matchups. I still made mistakes during this phase, but I made them less often, and, this is important, I knew how to fix most errors on the fly. I was becoming more confident and competent. Eventually, I'd guess after 2 or 3 years of middle school and JV contests, I was given a shot at primetime, high school varsity basketball. I still made mistakes, but I made them less frequently. The mess-ups I made were also less likely to affect play on the court. Most were fixed without notice. Today, even in the last seconds of a hotly contested championship, I'm alert but calm, breathing slowly as I listen for one thing. The referee's whistle. That's all that matters to me. It's the one sound I have to hear so I can do my job well. The whistle sounds. The clock stops. One of the things which makes my whistle hearing task challenging is crowd noise. When the game is close and everyone is yelling, it's harder to hear the tweet of a small little whistle. I have learned to hear the pitch of the ref's signal in the early minutes of a contest so that I can key in on that note even when the din is deafening. Thankfully, the student section is never right behind me. A few weeks ago, students started filing into the bleachers a couple of rows behind me, and I thought, I don't think so. The athletic director was on it immediately. He moved them to the side behind their team's bench. They were still loud, but not overwhelmingly so. I'm not sure the screaming student section is the worst thing, though. Sometimes the folks who make it hardest for me to concentrate are the chatty fans and shrieking parents who are allowed to sit directly behind the scorer's table within earshot. During a recent tournament, there was a couple of vocal old guys whose commentary on the refereeing and gameplay and coaching was constant. They did not shut up for more than 10 seconds at a time. Well, maybe 15 seconds once or twice. They had opinions about everything. I did my best to block them out, but it was hard. I was thankful when the final buzzer sounded and they walked out of the stands to go home. A few days later, all the coaches had a printed piece in their mailbox at the school. Help Wanted was emblazoned across the top in bold letters. Beneath this heading was the following: Every athletic team should have a man who plays every position, never makes an error, and knows just what the opposition is planning. But so far, there's been no way to get him to put his Coke and popcorn down to come out of the stands. I chuckled as those old-timers in the seats behind me came to mind. Every word from their mouths, complaints, criticisms, even cheers, they were easy to say. These guys weren't out on the court giving their all. Their heckling was of no worth and had no impact whatsoever on the game itself. The referees and coaches and players were the ones changing the course of... Is history too strong of a word? American evangelist D.L. Moody was once criticized for his methods by a man who did little to share faith with others. When the man finished his verbal attack, Moody's response was straightforward. "It is clear you don't like my way of doing evangelism," he said. "You raise some good points. Frankly, I sometimes do not like my way of doing evangelism. But I like my way of doing it better than your way of not doing it." Convicting words. I am not the most outspoken evangelist. I want to grow in boldness. I want to see opportunities for witness and, empowered by the Holy Spirit, take them. Millennia ago, Isaiah encountered God. He was devastated when he looked on God's holiness and realized his own sin. God saw his penitence and cleansed him of his unrighteousness. Immediately, God asked a question. Isaiah reports on this encounter in Isaiah 6, 8, and 9. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And Isaiah said, Here I am, send me. God said, Go and tell this people. God help me. I want to get out of the stands and into the game. Keep sending me, please. Compel me and all of your children, your whole church, to go and make disciples of all nations.
Oh no, it's time, no, we've come to